Side Scrollers is brought to you by you. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers. It's time for Side Scrollers on youtube.com. With me, Stuttering Craig. You got a goal? Go get it. Adam Krigler.
Hey, buddy.
Blabs.
I want sunshine, I want flowers, and I need it now.
And producer extraordinaire, Travis Key.
Hi, guys.
And brought to you by you, the G2 community, at patreon.com/sidescrollers. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on youtube.com. What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig. Welcome to the #1 video game. Hey, everybody, good to see you. Let's fucking go. Let's bring everybody in. It's time to go. We got a great show today, including a phenomenal guest, RGT 85, who will be joining us in just a few minutes if I can remember how to talk on this. Was it Tuesday morning? Yeah, it is. Travis, how are you?
Doing
Travis
good. I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry. Doing great. I'm glad Adam's back. I'm glad RG's here. So,
hey, listen, I'll tell you what. At least you forgot how to unmute yourself. I forgot how to talk. Also joining us today, straight from the Guamonian Amazon, the pride of Guam, the one and only Blabs.
Oh, hi. Let me help Craig out for a bit. Welcome to the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast in the world.
On planet Earth.
On planet Earth.
I was
in the globe.
There are times where I'm doing the intro that I just kind of sometimes I have word vomit, and that happens.
Yes.
It's a lot to get out of your face, out of your mouth in a short amount of time, I could
get
pace
out
it.
of your face.
Got to get out of your face, but that's okay.
Mafia going on over there. That's fine.
Hey, you know what's exciting? Look, we got a great show today because not only do we have a special guest today joining us, but we also have the return of Mr. Fucking Freeze, Adam Krigler.
Yay!
That's right. I'm back. I have internet, and it's not Sweden, by the way. It's not Sweden's
Finland.
internet. It's the company's fault. And I actually straight up switched companies. I said, "You suck. We're going to this better company," and we did. And the company wanted me to wait 2 weeks. They're like, "Oh, we got a backlog of whatever. We're gonna have to. It's gonna be like 2 weeks." And I'm like,
That's
not
crazy.
that's not gonna work for me." And then this other company was like, "Yeah, we'll turn it on today." And I was like, "Thank you. Yeah, we'll go with that." And so now I have good solid internet and no worries.
Congratulations! I look forward to the conversation about what life was like without the internet.
Yeah,
I look forward to.
it's
in the
interesting.
primitive ages.
Yes,
Surprising how much my life revolves around being online.
I saw your tweet. We're definitely going to talk about that later for sure.
Yeah.
But joining us now, as the chat has indicated, the #1 Nintendo-related YouTuber in the entire world. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for RGT85. There he is. Put him in the middle. Look it up. There he is, right there.
The crowd is going wild.
Going crazy. There he is.
What's up? I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber though.
I know.
Yeah, what's
That was
up?
a collection.
That was also a clap track, by the way. It wasn't a real crowd.
No, it was. It totally was. Don't lie to me.
Okay,
There's a
you're
bunch
right.
of
I'm
people
sorry.
behind me.
Just start and stop. It's crazy. Blabs has an immense amount of hands behind her. It's very weird
Yeah.
at all times.
I mean, my Funko Harry, he was clapping, you just didn't see him.
Oh, I saw him.
Oh.
Well, how are you, man?
He slightly moved. I saw it.
His head moved a little bit.
Well, before we get into this, RGT, tell us about yourself and tell everybody where they can find you because you are quite the internet doll.
My name's RGT85. I talk about video games. There is a bit of an emphasis on Nintendo related stuff, but that's just out of circumstance. I just talk about whatever I want, within the video game sphere, things I find interesting, because I don't like it when people just talk about stuff just to talk about it. So yeah, if you like video game related content, you should probably check me out. you'll hate my thumbnails and I'll probably piss you off at some point in time. But hey, isn't that what the internet's all about?
Now I noticed a video called Genesis Hidden Gems.
Yeah,
Did you ever play the game Beyond Oasis?
of course. Yeah.
Great game. Great.
Yeah, I
That was
love
my
that
favorite
game.
Genesis.
Really
game.
good art style too.
Right? This guy. I like this guy.
I like that. Like you said, have you ever played this game? Like it was going to be something, and RGT's like, yeah,
Beyond
idiots.
Oasis. Hey, what about the sequel, Legend of Oasis, on the Sega Saturn? Like, come on.
I didn't know about this. I'm hyped, dude. I'm hyped. I gotta play the sequel.
Yeah.
Legend of Oasis.
Legend of Oasis on the Sega Saturn.
I gotta find that.
I'll find it real quick. Get some gameplay for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was on the Saturn, you said?
Yeah, on the Sega Saturn.
Oh wow, this is important. We got late breaking news. A sequel, ladies and gentlemen. Legend of Oasis on the Genesis. Oh, look at that. Okay, I actually am familiar with this thing.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it has a super good art style and stuff.
Look at that. Look at that nonsense. This is straight Sega Saturn power right here, throwing down. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to find that for you, Adam. And now the world is a better place.
I'm hyped, dude.
Yeah,
there you go.
Pretty good for
Yeah.
Saturn.
I remember farming those fish.
And farm those fish. Good stuff. All right. Well, we got a big show today, obviously, because RGT is joining us. We're going to be talking about one of his latest videos. You do a video every single day. Is that correct?
Try to, yeah.
Right.
Most of the time it ends up happening.
Cool. Just whatever you want to talk about, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. So we have that going on, obviously. Tomorrow, we have our next episode of Side Scrollers Feud, where we're actually going to get some G2s attached to it, some patrons. So over on Patreon, after the show, I'm going to put out a casting call for those who are going to be available, and you will be able to compete against us tomorrow on Side Scrollers Feud. So it should be fun. So
Adam has to lose. I don't care about winning. Remember, that is my goal.
But we're on the same team.
If I have fun,
Wait, what? I thought you said Side Scrollers Feud. Why would we be on the same team?
It's us against the patrons.
Completely?
So, Blab, you
I
just
thought we were
advocated
trying to
for yourself to lose. I'm just clarifying.
Listen,
better
I
blast.
told you, it's fine if I lose and you lose. That's fine too.
Jeez.
Okay.
I want you to win, Blabs.
Blabs wants to go down with the ship. It's ridiculous. Crazy. On top of that, we have on Thursday here on YouTube, you can see the one-on-one interview with James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd. That is available right now over on patreon.com/sidescrollers as well. You can watch that. That's a pre-recorded Side Scrollers, but I'm sure you guys will enjoy it all the same. It'll be live promptly at 11 a.m. Central Time on Thursday as well. And then on Friday, we're going to be joined by Yellow Flash, which will be really, really cool.
Nice.
So we got a great group of folks, including obviously RGT here today. So lots of really good folks. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button as we get going here on YouTube. Those are obviously greatly appreciated. Comment down below because that drives algorithm stuff, obviously. And of course, if you're listening to us on Spotify or iHeartRadio, hey, appreciate you guys giving us good ratings and comments and all that fun stuff as well. And of course, we have the Rumble channel. Look, there's so much shit we have going on. We're all everywhere, and that's exciting. So, yeah, I think that's where it's at. Hey, Metastep wants to know, RGT, if Kid Chameleon is on the underrated Genesis games.
Not really. I was never a huge fan of Kid Chameleon. You know, a lot of the early Genesis games, like Kid Chameleon, Alex Kidd, Altered Beast, I think they all suck. Like, and I know that's gonna get me some heat. I don't care. I don't understand the appeal of Altered Beast. Maybe the arcade version was fun, but like, I don't know. But no, I was never a huge fan of Kid Chameleon. So, yeah.
Can I tell you what the appeal of Altered Beast is?
The fact that you become a beast.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Flies from your wave. Like, it was cool, but I just think it hasn't aged like all that. Great.
No, it's funny. I was actually playing the other day. I got this Super Console X thing. Have you seen these before? These Super Console X's?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I was playing. We had the Game Boy out the other day on a stream, and I played. There was a GBA version of Altered Beast. I had no idea that existed, and it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. So yeah, it was exactly kind of what I thought it would be. But it was fun. It was kind of like a repetitive thing, but. Yeah, you know, that's the goal. I think the big thing with the original Altered Beast was the cutscenes where like the fire in the background and like that was
turn into the thing. Like it was cool, but yeah, I just from a gameplay perspective, like if you put that up against like an original Mario game on the NES, it's like, well, okay, well, one still plays well and one just
right. It's very much a product of its time for sure. Scotty wants to know. Thank you so much, Scotty. Comes in and says, "Where can I get a side scrollers hat?" Also, fuck yes, Adam is back. Darty. Scotty, there's a link down below for for our merchandise store. You can pick some stuff. But by the way, we'll have a new shirt next week. I've got a new shirt idea that I put together, and it'll be available next week. I think we're going to do some limited stuff, which is going to be exciting. So, all right, are you guys ready to get into the fun stuff today?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. It's time for my favorite segment. Oh yes,
I'm ready.
okay, good.
I thought he had a sneeze or something.
Me too. I thought he was
just getting ready.
Okay, well, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for
Hard News.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Adam. Awesome.
7 on 10.
Did you miss me?
I was doing
I heard
it.
Blabs tried and failed
Hey.
miserably.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just don't think she has the octave to do it.
Listen,
So
I
you-
sound like a chipmunk. How do you lower that?
You literally got like the
You lean into it. That's
from
what you do.
RGT after that. It was like,
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. So the big news coming out this week is obviously the release of the new Mario movie. RGT, are you excited for this? Are you stoked to go actually to the theaters to see the Mario movie?
All right, so I have a confession. I haven't been to the movie theater since I was 18. And the only reason I went was because it was for Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, and my friend got me a free ticket. And I remember I went with this girl, and then my friend who ended up getting me the free ticket ended up hooking up with that girl that I went with in the theater. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, at least I got a free movie out of this. But
Oh, no.
Wait.
Damn.
So
That's
you
rough.
went with the girl,
yeah,
and your buddy
he got
came
us all,
in.
he got us all free tickets because he knew someone that worked there. So there was like a group of us, but I went with this chick, and then just halfway through the movie, I'm sitting next to her. She's in between me and my buddy. I look over, my buddy's just like making out with her, and I'm like, well, he did get us the tickets, so it's like,
Take it,
too
girl.
bad.
He gets everything.
Yeah,
Did he
man.
know?
Man.
Did he know that you brought her? Like, was there?
Oh yeah.
Established.
What a dick
All right, that's
move.
fucked up. That's a dick move.
But it was a very early on thing, and they had some history too. I honestly didn't really care. Like,
Isn't
I was
isn't it
trying
worse
to
on
hook up with
her?
but yeah, I mean, but they're all
Yeah.
married and
What a
stuff. now,
hoe. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Just say she's the worst person for her. He's your buddy.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like,
Dick move from the dude, hoe move from the
Right.
woman.
I like that
Wow.
movie though, so it was a decent time. I was just like, oh, well,
I guess
Alright.
she costs 2 Terminator tickets.
So when was the last time that you were excited to go to the movies and paid for yourself? Because this was when you were 18. So was there a
Jesus.
time before that you actually went to purposefully like, I'm gonna go see this movie and pay for it yourself?
Not
Wow.
that I can recall.
Wow.
Okay, just to put this in perspective, Terminator 3 was released July 2nd, 2003. So 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like a weird
Wow.
RGT's kind of like a weird time capsule in that the only memories he has of the movies are when like theaters were like flourishing and amazing and awesome. So I don't know if you should go back to the
No,
theaters.
don't.
Yeah, like it seems like a very different experience. And it's like super expensive and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I was kind of hoping for like when COVID was doing its thing, that like not that theaters would go away, but it'd become more of a niche thing because like theaters are kind of like malls. Like there's way too freaking many of them. And it's like, you have to adjust with the times. You have to adapt to, people that just want to watch stuff or experience stuff in their homes and stuff like that. But it worked for a little bit, but now things are going back full force. I mean, I'll watch it. I'm not super, like, yeah, I need to see it day one, like pre-order my tickets sort of stuff. I can wait. Like, I'm good.
What about bringing back drive-through theaters?
That
I've
was
never
go.
been to one. I kind
got-
of want
I'm
to
down
go.
for that.
Got like 2 within 50 miles of me.
I just love the idea that you were actively rooting for theaters to be shut down for COVID.
I mean, it just, I don't know, man. Like, it's, I don't know. Like going to a movie theater, it just seems because like I feel like you're not nearly as focused as you would be at your house, watching the movie. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing for me, but yeah, I don't care to go to movie theaters.
Can I read a couple of the other movies that came out in 2003?
Yes, Travis.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Pirates of the
Dang.
Caribbean, The
Good
Curse of the Black Pearl,
Good movie.
Kill Bill
Mhm.
Volume 2, I believe,
Good movie.
Love Actually,
Oh,
13.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like a throwback.
I've never seen any of
Remember when
those, by the way.
like multiple movies would come out and they're all good? Remember that from like the 90s, the 80s? Pretty much before the modern times. Sad,
Well, now
sad
that's the
times.
same thing over and over again. It's a superhero movie. That's what you're going to get continuously.
Oh,
superhero,
God.
superhero. So,
Sad.
how about that Blue Beetle, by the way, huh?
Batman's a fascist.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday, and I was just like, what are we doing
No,
here?
no thanks.
Like it's obviously not going to be successful. Like you're setting yourself up for failure. The trailer is setting yourself up for failure because DC fans, which I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't know anything about DC and Marvel beyond the absolute basics, but DC fans are not going to want to hear that Batman, who arguably is one of the biggest DC characters, is a fascist. Like,
Right.
Stop it. Like, stop it. There's no reason for that line. Like, oh, that's crazy.
I mean, how? How is he a I think Drunk 3PO said it best because you posted that clip of him where he just started laughing his ass off. And then how are you going to... Yeah, it isn't arguable. Batman is the biggest DC character, like hands down, bar none. That's why there's so many Batman movies. That's why Batman has been a thing for such a long time. How are you gonna shit on your best character,
right?
With this new movie, this new movie's gonna be amazing. By the way, we're gonna take a dump on our best character. Like, wow.
I think what's interesting about that is, these first trailers are meant to get you extremely excited, and it's supposed to end on an absolute high, right? And make you go, yes, and it's supposed to pique your curiosity. And for like a minute and 55 seconds, it was like, it was like, all right. And then they throw George Lopez throwing it at the end there, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, right. I mean, I guess it certainly got people talking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that may have been the intent because, I mean, is that character really big enough to stand on its own to get marketing if they played it safe with the trailer? I mean, people like to think that Hollywood is stupid, and for a large majority they are, but they also know it's the old saying, controversy creates cash, and if you're getting people talking about it, even if it's in a negative way, at least people are talking about it. Whereas if you drop this trailer without inciting some sort of emotion, because if you take away that line, which was at the end, what's the rest of the trailer? Forgettable. But now it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. Well, why did he say that? What's up with that? And everyone, gets all worked up about it and stuff. Like, it's a catch-22. It's like, well, obviously it's a stupid thing to say, but there was probably a reason I said it.
100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I will say this: up until 24 hours ago, I had no idea who Blue Beetle was. Right, and had that line not been in there, I probably still wouldn't know who Blue Beetle was. Right, so you're right for sure. It's clever marketing.
I still don't know what Blue Beetle is, and I don't think I want to know.
I have no interest.
The way I heard it described was it was the
no, I'm good. I'm fine.
Spawn version.
Thank you though.
No,
you're good.
Okay,
I appreciate it. I meant it when I said I don't want to see it.
Okay, sounds good. Extra Zero says, glad to see Adam out of cryo sleep. Can we get a UFO spin for that?
Sure. Yeah. I actually had to reset it up. Look, it's all excited. Look, it's
oh, there's Mr.
blinking.
Freeze. There we go.
Blinking. Am I frozen?
No, you're good. You're good. Fire away. Let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Why don't you just push it with your hands instead of using the air gun?
Because it's floating on magnetism, essentially. So if I poke it, it might knock it out of alignment, and then it ceases to spin. So it must be air propelled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Thank you for that. There you go, Extra Zero. So getting back to it, the Mario movie is supposed to open. It's opening tomorrow, and I'm genuinely excited to see it. I think a lot of folks. We were talking about kind of the early previews yesterday on the show, and a lot of the early previews are like, Jay was pointing out that they all have hashtags, Super Mario Brothers movie with some sort of imagery. There's some sort of formatting attached to them having early access to be able to go see the movie. And they got to talk glowingly about it in their social posts and stuff. But all the social posts have been very, very positive. But they are predicting a very big opening for the movie, as predicted By Nintendo Life, they're estimating a $225 million opening weekend, which is which would be pretty gangbusters for it, for sure.
If this movie does that big, can you imagine the flood of video game movies that we're going to get for the next 10 years?
Well, I mean, we know that's going to happen, and it's going to be Nintendo. And then, Sega will come out and be like, well, we need to make a House of the Dead movie or Sonic or they already have two Sonic movies, but they'll make the Sonic movies have been fine, but they're predicting $125 million for the US and Canada and $100 million abroad, which I think the $100 million abroad is way low, because I think that as cuckoo cuckoo as people are for Nintendo and Mario here in the States, I think they're that much more cuckoo cuckoo in Japan and China for Nintendo and the properties over there. I think 100 million is way undershooting it. So
I hope it does well.
Yeah,
I think it will.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Same.
I feel it's going to make over $1.5 billion. I predicted upwards towards 2 by the time it's all said and done. But I'm an idiot. $2 billion is funny money to me, so I don't understand what that means. So
I like what Goomba just said, and I was thinking it too. I think Zelda would make a fantastic movie if they did it right, and I see that happening. Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
rumored.
Right. I think that's kind of the bigger question is what's next after Mario. And generally with these things, you have your primary property, and then you take a small step to your left or step to your right. Right. So we're probably going to use something that's already existing in the movie, probably Donkey Kong or Mario Kart or something, something along those lines, or maybe a Yoshi movie, because I know Yoshi's are in it. Who knows, right? But you
Yoshi's
probably
adorable.
Yoshi's so cute. But I think Yoshi's like, if you were to put like a Nintendo cinematic universe together, you obviously start with your major characters, your Mario, your Donkey Kongs, your Luigi's.
Yeah.
Well, Luigi, you could always do like something based on Luigi's Mansion. Donkey Kong is, still huge. So yeah, I could definitely see, and I think they'll probably allude to something in that movie to sort of give you an inclination that, hey, this is probably going to be the next thing.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of talk about an after credit scene in it, and that should probably tie into whatever's coming next. But I think I guarantee there's already another movie in production right now.
Oh yeah, pre-production or something. Yeah,
for sure.
If not 4.
You're probably right. There's probably a few of them in production, and they have it all lined up. They know exactly what's coming, and as talked about yesterday, I think that's going to be one of those things where it ties into the Mario theme parks. Over in Universal, what's coming, and Jay's thought was, Drunk 3PO's thought was, the next thing coming is a Donkey Kong roller coaster. So naturally, Donkey Kong is probably going to be the next movie. So probably right. Lord Splee says, I want a Typing of the Dead movie.
They made a House of the Dead movie. It was a Uwe Boll thing, and like the intro of the movie showed scenes from the original arcade game, and then that was it. Like the rest of the movie had nothing to do with anything. It was horrible.
Sucks,
man. Brett wants to know, should a Zelda movie be a CGI or live action?
CGI.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do
live actions have been absolute shit for everything in the last decade.
Well, you wait 8 years, then you make a live action.
Yes, right.
Like they're doing with Moana. That's right.
Oh, bankrupt.
Back here, Tarta says, as a Blue Beetle fan, that line pisses me off. To be fair, Blue Beetle is basically Star Kid from 1997. I don't even know what any of that means. Thank you, back here, Tarta. Appreciate that. So they're expecting a big opening for this movie, and there's been some things that have been like leaking out about it, including the Blabs. You probably don't know this, but I bet Adam, you know this, and RGT, I'm sure you do. The old DK rap from the N64 movie, that N64 game, that is actually how Seth Rogen's character is introduced, with the DK rap, with Donkey Kong. So that was announced, and let's go take a listen to Seth Rogen here for a second as he laughs hysterically about things.
In the history of video game soundtracks, one song towers above all. This is the DK rap. This is how my character comes out in the movie, is to the Donkey Kong rap. This is objectively one of the worst rap songs of all time. They're introducing the whole DK crew. Again, inflate himself, and then he farts out his... I don't remember a Kong that propelled himself through farting.
So they announced this is as how he's going to be introduced, and then the original composer of it, Grant Kirkhope, he said over on Twitter, says, if you had told me in 1997 that when I wrote the worst rap track in the history of rap tracks, they would go into the Mario movie, I would have burst with excitement. Long live the DK rap. So it's very everyone's
cool.
self-aware. You like that, Blaz?
That's a perception thing.
I think it's cool that, that they carry it off. Even if it's like a shitty rap song, at least, it's part of the lore, right? So it's still going. Now, do I like Seth Rogen? That's a whole other question. Nah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of bringing something from like the 90s into the movie without actually twisting it and stuff. That's nice.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of callbacks to various Nintendo related things, specifically Mario and Donkey Kong and Luigi and stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of weird stuff like that in it, where it might fly over some people's heads, but if you get it, it's a good thing.
Donkey Kong wasn't the original Kong, was he? Wasn't there a different one that was the one throwing barrels down at Mario in the first?
That was Donkey Kong, who is known as Cranky Kong now.
Okay.
He's
Right.
the old one. And DK Junior is like the current version of Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Okay.
He was the kid, so, or something along those lines. So Extra Zero comes in and says it's all leading up to the Smash Brothers movie, Avengers style. I don't know. I have doubts about that. I have doubts about that because I don't think they want to see any of their characters hurt or dying or dead.
Well, it'd be tough too, because think of how many. If you're doing Smash Brothers, I mean, Smash Brothers, it's not like the N64 days where it's just Nintendo characters. Like, there's so many freaking characters from different franchises and stuff. It's like, well, who do you pick and choose to be in it?
Right. You want to see Guile hanging out
Right.
or whatever, just showing up in a Nintendo movie. I think that'd be pretty sweet. Speaking of, Joe says, you guys hear another Street Fighter live action films in the works.
Cool.
I mean,
do you have any thoughts?
There's been more like when you talk about Street Fighter in the movie, everyone thinks of the Jean-Claude Van Damme film, but I mean, there's been other Street Fighter movies beyond that. Like, they just weren't big theatrical presentations and stuff like that, and some of them have been live action based. So
What were they?
I don't know. I like the shitty Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, especially when you think of like how he was just like coked up the whole time, and like half the time it was a back shot of him because it wasn't actually him. It was just a fill-in because he had disappeared and stuff like that. Like, it's cheesy fun.
Wait, what? What are you talking? I haven't heard this before. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was like high out of his mind during the filming of that and just partying all the time. So a lot of the shots are back shots of the Guile character because it's not actually Jean-Claude Van Damme because he didn't like show up to the filming that day.
What a
Shut up.
professional.
Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Wow.
I gotta like write this down to do a little research on this. This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know.
It's a whole John Bono in the chat is saying it's a whole thing, dude. Like, because he had Raul Julia, who was like in the process of dying during the filming of it. Like, it was just crazy.
Wow.
Oh man, I gotta look up. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is from Vice, everyone's favorite straight down the middle news source. Jean-Claude Van Damme was coked out of his mind during Street Fighter, director says. Oh my God. It's crazy to think about these these action heroes. Oh my God. Well, at this time, he was struggling with a pretty serious cocaine addiction, snorting an estimated $10,000 worth of coke a week.
Wow. You know
Holy
how much
shit.
cocaine that is? Like,
No, I don't.
$10,000
I
do.
worth
That's
a
a
week,
lot.
Travis. That's
now,
nuts.
now I need to know how much $10,000 worth of cocaine is.
Well, you don't need to. I don't know.
if you think
it's
about
a need.
an 8-ball is about $120, do that math.
Craig is like gonna be like inflation.
I don't even know what that is.
Period.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Travis. Tell us more about illicit drugs.
Did you learn this in the porn store?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He doesn't
Please,
say
okay.
anything. He's like, They're
I
sealed.
shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, this is insane. All right. Gino says, have you heard the coconut gun rap? No, Gino, I have not heard the coconut. I have not. Has anybody heard the coconut gun rap before?
No, I
No.
just know about the coconut song. Gotta love a bunch of coconuts.
RGT? No, nothing.
No, I think it might be something from Donkey Kong 64, and I hate Donkey Kong 64. I think it's an absolute piece of shit game. It's one of the worst 3D platformers on the Nintendo 64. They try to do too much with the game and the performance. Anyone who loves that game, I shouldn't say anyone, 99% of people that love that game are looking at it with nostalgia glasses, because I first played that game as an adult and I was like, this is horrible. Like this is unplayable nonsense. So
Ow.
Wow. All right.
I love it. I'll let them know. All right, hold on. Let's see. I've figured out. Let's see. This is an 8 ball of cocaine. All right. I feel like I need to learn these things.
Yep.
Is this an 8 ball, Travis? Yes. Travis is like, yes, it is. And how much is this worth?
Oh, the chat disagrees with me. Apparently, I know of a cheap cocaine.
Okay. I don't know. This is a new world to me. I'm very intrigued by this. So
Gotta get the good stuff apparently.
well,
Hey, I haven't done drugs in 15 years, just to let everybody know.
I'm glad you are
you
you
drink
sober,
coffee?
Trav?
No, I actually don't drink coffee. I don't drink caffeine. I don't. No.
Did you
That's
say
one
don't drink
cigarette.
cocaine or caffeine?
Are you on
No.
any medication at all?
Yeah, I take Zoloft.
Yeah. You take drugs.
Hey, well,
You
he
druggie.
means the illicit. Yeah, a druggie. Man, when's the last time you heard that? You're a druggie. It's the
I don't
druggie
remember
term.
even the last time I said that.
I know. Sorry.
I'm
Are you
embarrassed for
12?
myself.
Yeah.
Cringy, Adam.
Jocko
You
says,
go away for 3 days, and this is what happens.
Jocko says, at this point, Hollywood is so creatively bankrupt. I wouldn't be surprised if a big director tried to make a Dark Souls film. Wouldn't that be awful?
From Software wouldn't let it happen. No, they have such a high standard for their products. I don't ever see that happening.
Edison came to this and says, I would like to see a Metroid movie too. Do you guys think it would work as a live action movie? I have
Maybe.
no
It
interest
depends. It depends on who makes it, I think.
and
Nah,
who's casted in it.
Also true.
I think it'd be easier to make
Right.
a CGI than a live action for sure.
Right.
And you could probably do it. But Boat Night says yes. It's called Alien.
right.
Pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I nailed it right there. Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the original origins of the Metroid series was very much based off Alien and Sigourney Weaver and such. So,
And thank goodness
love-
for Jennifer Lawrence for really paving the way for really
Well,
badass female
she paved the way
characters.
for everything. She gave birth to all of us too, probably.
RGT, did you know that Jennifer Lawrence was the first female action star?
That's
You
why
see-
she did the movie named Mother Blabs.
Yeah, you see that a lot with people. They seem to have revisionist history where I'm the first of this and that. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, you're not. But okay.
Well, I was
that.
hearing rumors that you were actually the first YouTuber ever, RGT. So congratulations on that. And no anybody else before.
Your guest on Friday, James Rolfe. He was the first YouTuber ever. He might have been. Even for video game stuff, he might have been.
They're OGs, man. OGs.
Yeah.
Can we get
Metastep.
Jennifer Lawrence on?
I would love to get Jennifer Lawrence on. God, that'd be awesome.
Can I read this super chat?
Go ahead.
Adam is low key a drug kingpin.
Technically, I am a drug dealer. All right, this is real. All right, I slang coffee beans. All right, best coffee beans in the land. So, just
There you
saying.
go. Love it. Potato Pat says an 8 ball is like 3.5 grams, $120. So
Now, what's an
So
eight
Trav was
ball?
right.
I don't know these terms.
It's
Well,
an
so-
eighth,
Oh.
Okay, so-
okay.
an
So-
eighth of an ounce.
just to put
Got
this in
it.
perspective, this is $120. I feel I'm educating everybody here. This is
Yes.
$120, but in like 1993 or 1992, this was probably $60, right? So
Or
to
less,
get
who
to
knows?
$10,000 of this
week.
in a week, my God, just
Do some math, Craig. Come on.
Yeah, he was snorting
Where's
like
your-
2
Pull out the
kilos.
big calculator. Where is
Come
it? Let's
on.
bring it up.
What are
It's
you?
literally like
And-
2 kilos of cocaine.
And I want to make a point too. He's not just buying 8 balls one at a time.
No.
He's probably buying like an
In
ounce
bulk.
or more, you know, 'cause if he's doing that much. So it'll probably be a little less because you buy in bulk, you save. So
Well,
Wait,
listen,
did you shop
I know
at
this because of
Costco?
coffee. I know
Wholesale.
this because of coffee. You know, you buy the 5-pound bag, you save money because you're actually getting more coffee
A
beans.
kilo is 1,000 grams. So
hey, did you know when you came on today, RGT, that we'd be getting into hardcore cocaine talk?
No, but I mean, I you know, it was around me a lot growing up, and I
Oh,
tried
was
it
it?
once. I didn't care for it. I never liked when I was big into partying. I never liked the uppers. I was always the downers. I wanted to take a bunch of shit, wash it down with some booze, and pass out in a corner. Like I didn't like the uppers, and I always thought people that did uppers were, I don't know, just kind of too high strung for me.
Well, when you're Jean-Claude Van Damme, you gotta, you know, pretty high strung. You gotta deliver his guile.
Right? It's an important role. You need to be blown out for it.
Jason Murphy says cocaine Craig. I like that.
No, I do not like that.
Yeah.
Paul came in and gifted a membership to the channel. Paul Hadukin, thank you so much. By the way, Paul has done a ridiculously amazing rendition of the Arbor Armadillo theme, which will be probably by Monday next week. We will have a new intro for side scrollers based off of Paul's theme. It's amazing. So
Wait.
love that. Yeah,
I'm
hell yeah.
excited.
It's killer, man. And Manny Ichi says, how did RGT get his name and the meaning of it?
So the 85 is the year I was born. It used to be Retro Gaming Tube 85 because I started this channel initially because I was working at a Nintendo website as an editor-in-chief, but I wanted to talk about stuff non-Nintendo related. I couldn't really do it on their YouTube channel, so I made my own thing, and then all my friends are like, that name is horrible, it's way too long and you're pigeonholing yourself. And I was like, shut up, you don't know me. And then like 3 months later I was like, all right, they were right. So I changed it to RGT, and that's just what it ended up becoming.
Retro Gaming Tube. I love it. Love it.
Great question.
Yeah, that's good. All right, well, let's as we continue down Mario, let me just show you a few things that they're doing to promote Mario leading up. I saw these and I thought these were actually pretty cool. They're doing amazing things with drones nowadays. I don't know if you guys have seen like these drone shows that they're doing, but I think they're all over the place. So here's one they did with Mario where they have these drones out and they're literally moving around, and he's got the mushroom and everything, tossing it in the air and looking up. Like, it's insane what they're doing. The fact that this is all
That's
drugs.
cool.
It's insane.
Drugs.
Oh, sorry. Drugs and drones.
What?
Drugs and
Cocaine
drones.
Craig strikes again.
See, look at that. The name fits. Where?
Oh, he's gonna eat it. Look how they turn off their lights. That's insane to me. Holy shit. That is so cool.
That is so cool.
Yes. And then he gets big. Like, the fact this is just flying in the air is crazy to me. I don't know. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, I love it. That's cool.
Then they
Like, how do you practice this? Because you can't. This isn't something you can get like first try. Like, I feel like you have to like practice. Like,
That's
look
an
at that.
algorithm. Guaranteed. That's just a computer algorithm that
Oh,
Probably. They have
smart.
softwares. Just
programmed them out.
okay.
they just
Okay.
hit play.
And I guess this one turns into like star power, I guess, and he explodes, which is interesting.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The 3D, the fact that you can see it all in 3D is amazing. And then we have this one of Bowser, which I actually didn't watch this one because it just looks so cool. But I don't know, I just think this is really neat. This is flying. It says over the Santa Monica Pier. So
That's wild.
yeah, this is absolutely wild. Breathing
It's
fire.
like fireworks. That's sweet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope.
Very, very cool stuff. So, anyways, we're getting geared up. It releases tomorrow, and we'll see. I'm sure it's gonna just do gangbusters and such. So, Mario movie comes out tomorrow. I'm predicting billions and billions of dollars. It's gonna be great. Okay, so let's get to what the the thumbnail today of RGT, and let's get to what we're going to talk about today, which is the title is "Stop Being Weird." So stop
Okay.
being weird. Do you want to watch a little bit of your video, or would you like to just tell us about your video, RGT?
I could
I
just-
thought it was fascinating.
I could just tell you about it.
Please go ahead.
Basically, what it boils down to is something that a lot of the fandoms that I'm a part of, unfortunately, have, which is kind of a topic for another thing, but basically where people just go overboard with criticizing something to the point of where they look insane, but they think what they're doing is the right thing. So this is about Ada Wong, voice actress in the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is a lady by the name of Lily Gao. Basically, people didn't like her performance. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Me personally, I was not a fan of the performance. Okay, that's where this conversation really should end. But what ended up happening was people were like harassing her on Instagram, and forced her to pretty much private her Instagram and take everything down. And it's like, you're getting mad at the wrong person, because I don't think that Lily took this character and was like, I'm going to make this my own and I'm going to do whatever I want. And, no matter what happens, this is the voice. No, Capcom is the company telling her, this is how you need to portray this character. This is how we want this character portrayed. It's a voice actor, voice actress. They're playing a role that somebody is telling them to play. If Capcom was not happy with that role, if they wanted her to be more energetic, they wanted her to, portray a different style, they would have told her that. It's not like, oh, well, shit, this is the one character, this is the one person in the entire world who could be the English voice actor for Ada Wong in this. I guess we're stuck in this. I guess we're stuck with it. No, like, and people just, they go above and beyond and send you messages and shit like that. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, I don't get, I kind of do get why video game fans are like that, because some of them just to be fair, they're not all there. They're not all there. You see it. I love pro wrestling. Okay. I love looking on Facebook when a random pro wrestling, post goes up. And then you see like people getting so mad in the comments and arguing in the comments, and you click their profile and it's like, I feel like I know what this person is going to look like and what their situation is. And like 9 times out of 10, you're always right. It's a sad thing, but there needs to be, I don't know, some sort of class, some sort of etiquette teaching, maybe some sort of test before you access online to see your mental capability and to see if you understand like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy to me.
I don't disagree with you at all, actually. I think that, especially online, you mentioned this in your video, the anonymity of things and being able to, say what you want without any repercussions. It goes back to the old Mike Tyson quote about, people can say whatever they want without, and they've never been punched in the mouth for it. Yeah. This has been an ongoing issue, and obviously social media has amplified it. Social media has been a really good thing for a lot of people, and it's also been the destruction of society for others. But people have felt, and I think really what it comes down to is people feel an extreme amount of entitlement to these games, these franchises, these characters, and they feel like they know better than you. Right? They know better than the person doing the voice actor. This is what the voice acting. They know better than the producer. They know because they lived it. They had this experience. And I think that's kind of a dangerous thing when it comes to any sort of media. People have very personal experiences. I think of, my time playing like Breath of the Wild, and my experience was pretty singular in that game. Right. But I've seen other people play through, and I've mentioned this several times, where there's places that in playthroughs that I've never even seen in that game. I've watched YouTube and I'm like, where the hell is this? I have no idea. So these are singular experiences, and you create these almost emotional experiences while you're playing these games, or you're tied to these characters. So I know better than you, and I'm going to fucking tell you about it because I'm an asshole online.
Like, and the thing of it is like, okay, if I make a video, okay, because I get weirdo fucking people all the time too. If I make a video, I post that video on my Twitter, I post that video on my Facebook, I post that video on my Instagram, and people disagree with it, and they're saying, oh, this video sucks, you suck, in the comments of that video. Fine. That is your forum to do such. You want to do it in the comment section of the YouTube video itself? Fine. That is your forum to do that. The problem is if I post a picture of this pen and you're telling me about how my video sucked, You're telling me I did a bad job with this. You know, any sort of thing that you do, you're constantly saying, oh, you remember that time you made that video and that sucked? Like, oh, you suck. Like, that's the problem. There are you can be constructive and give criticism. You can hate something. You can be like, this is the worst thing ever. But there's a time and a place for it. If you let it ultimately consume you, and that's what like drives you, and you're constantly checking, you know, this person's Instagram. Did she unblock her Instagram so I could tell her she did a bad job of Ada Wong? Like, you need help. Like, there's something wrong with you. Like, there's some sort of disconnect between reality and, you know, like just how things should be and like being a decent person.
I think there's a lot of people online that connect what their ideology is to everything around them. And they can't they need that to remain the same so that they feel validated. As soon as it changes, right, their worldview somehow gets threatened and it triggers that fight or flight. Suddenly they need to fight to keep things the way that they know it, or else their whole world will start spiraling out. So like you said, there's something wrong with you if that's how close you're tied to this stuff where you can't accept change at all. Now, I mean, I understand when things do change and it's actually bad and it deserves criticism by all means. But when you're going to attack people for, you know, just doing their jobs, when, as you said, it's Capcom's fault. Like, they did it. They approved of it. That's who you should be going after. You should be in like, Capcom, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you direct this person do it in this fashion? Am I frozen or something?
You were.
You were frozen that whole time.
Yeah, that whole time.
Epic speech, and then it was just like,
well, they don't call me Mr. Freeze for nothing. Damn.
I think it's by the way, I think it's a StreamYard thing, because whenever I like change the format, that's when you get frozen. So
I think it is
something in there.
StreamYard. But I don't
Maybe
understand
it's an
why
update,
I
that's
get
all messed
I
up.
don't understand why I get targeted by StreamYard, because no one else freezes.
Maybe it's
I
a
don't
know.
European thing.
Small setting or something.
Maybe.
Tiny
I don't
little
know.
thing.
It's
Well, I'll tell you
annoying.
this. David brings up a good question. He says, "What is being a decent person?" You are also segregating. So, I think common decency is a very
Yeah.
very big start of it. You know, what is a decent
Morality.
person? You're right. Knowing that you shouldn't just be a fucking asshat to people. You know, I think
Mhm.
it's having a little bit of courtesy, and that you may not necessarily, you know, it's like if somebody was to go see a movie and they really didn't like Keanu Reeves as John Wick, and they just harassed him constantly on social media, being like, "You're a really shitty version of John
Yeah.
Wick," or
Like,
you know,
what?
this version wasn't as good. You know, you weren't as good as you were in 2 and 1 or whatever. It's like, have a little levity to the situation, and
Yeah.
kind of go ahead, Trev.
I was just gonna say, when people reach the crazy line, I think that's it for me. It's like what RG was talking about. It's when you're like messaging somebody's wife about shit. Like,
yeah,
why would you even think to do something like that? That's like the crazy line. You know, you
Mhm.
don't know boundaries.
like nobody's
Right.
saying that you can't be critical of something or dislike something or dislike a performance or dislike, you know, anything. You know, that's fine. That's normal human behavior. The unnormal part is when you take it to unnecessary levels of just constant barrage of hatred and vitriol, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, why is this the most important thing in your life? Like,
Do you have a hobby? Get a hobby,
yeah,
please. Focus
knit
on that.
knit a sweater, you go for a walk, like do something. Like there's
Mhm.
something.
Go to
it's-
the gym.
Go to
Take
the
that
gym.
negativity out. and Make
Spend
it
your
even
time
better.
watching something you like or playing something you like, rather than the thing you don't like and bitching about it.
Well, they're
Well,
addicted
what's-
to it.
Right.
True.
And so I have these on Twitter, you know, is obviously like this cesspool, and it has continued to be. And there was hope for a while that Twitter wouldn't be as shitty as it is, but it's still pretty shitty. But Twitter is like a really good example. I have these people who used to watch me, and now they're like they call them parody accounts of me, and like they literally, I have them blocked, so they can't see what I tweet. So they literally log in from another account to see what I tweet, then log back into the parody account, and then tweet responses to them. And it's like, this is what you're doing with your day. Like,
Yep.
this is how
Which
you want to
for
spend
me
your time.
would be fine, but when they start like adding blabs or adding other people that you work with just because to
Oh,
like
they've already done
that's
that.
it's too much. It's too
Right.
much. If you want to talk shit to Craig and parody him and whatever and say whatever you want, fine, go ahead. But when you start adding other people, it's crazy.
Right. And I think that's what's amazing is like those parody accounts in particular, talking about taking it a step too far. They were actually reaching out to people and trying to like have conversations with them as me, trying to get information, like DMs and acting as me. And I had this guy reach out. He's like, I thought I was talking to you, but
Mhm.
I wasn't talking, I was talking to somebody else. They're totally gaslighting these people. And it's like, that's like, I want to be mad, but I'm honestly just sad for them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's really like when you take that, when you have such hate in your heart or such vitriol that you have to do that, and that's how you want to. That's your hobby. Like that's honestly fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Mhm.
It's just weird. Like, the problem is that you give people an inch and they'll take a mile, and
Mhm.
that's what you see time and time again with the internet. People just want to see. I feel like there's a subsect of people who just want to see like how much they can get away with, without getting in any sort of ramifications or trouble or stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I like to assume that a lot of these people are younger, but the sad thing is they're not. When
Right.
I made a video talking about I was selling my game collection, there were people, literally 50-plus-year-old men, making videos saying that I was lying. That somebody sent me a video of a guy who was saying I was lying. I was gonna take all my games and move them to a different room because I wanted people to pay for my, because I had a ER stay in January and I don't have insurance, and I was wanting people to pay for my medical bills somehow, but like I didn't have a GoFundMe or anything like that, and I wasn't, collecting money for my medical bills, but I wasn't really going to sell my games. And I was like, me selling my games has absolutely nothing to do with my medical stuff. I'm good. I worked out a thing with them. We're all good. Me and the hospital are fine. I just wanted to sell my games. And it's like people just, I don't know. It's just weird how they obsess over things that have nothing to do with them, and they should just, kind of move on.
If you give people anonymity, they revert back to being 15 years old like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like it shows their true maturity attached to these things. And circling back on the idea of like in the gaming space in particular, the other day Chris Pratt did this interview about Mario fans, and people were really the big criticism about Pratt has been the voice of Mario. It's Chris Pratt doing Mario. Doesn't sound like Mario. And Chris Pratt was very eloquent in that he said,
Mhm.
these are just very passionate fans. These are passionate fans, and I understand. And he answered that like the best PR way you could possibly answer it, right? But in reality, what he wanted to say was some people are fucking insane, and they're going to take things way too far. Because if you think like, RGT, if you think you were seeing, shit for, your video about selling your stuff, Chris Pratt like has literally a target on himself because he's portraying one of the most iconic characters ever that has ever been created.
Yep.
And it's not the way that Joe Smith in Pawtucket, Rhode Island envisions it. It's bizarre, man. It's really bizarre.
It's
sad.
it's a shame.
Remember
And
Civil Discourse? That was always
Yeah.
fun.
What's
well, the
that?
thing of it is like some
Right?
people, like I feel like Chris Pratt for the most part can handle it, but what people don't realize is there's some people who can't handle things like that, who can't handle a barrage of hatred sent their way for something that's outside of their control, or for just an opinion on something like a video game. Like I've seen it time and time again where like people get scared off of the platforms and stuff like that because they can't handle it. And it's like, do you not see what you people are doing? Like this isn't decent behavior. We could take the word normal out of it if we have a problem with saying, well, what is normal? I think we can all agree on what is decent behavior, and that's not decent.
Or
Well,
moral,
it's
for that
what I was
matter.
saying earlier about how people are tying their value to other people's opinions. So I mean, adding on to what I was saying earlier, it's not just these people who hate and like spew this shit. There's a lot of people out there that sometimes on the other side of the aisle, or the people who are just trying to live a fun, happy life, go online and then get all of that stuff. They are still tying their own values to these people's opinions. These assholes that there's the last person you should care about what their opinion is, but they're putting value on it, saying, wow, maybe they're right, maybe I am shit, maybe. It's like, no, you are the only person who can validate yourself. And it's really sad that we're living in a time where social media, like Craig said, it's a blessing and a curse. It
Mhm.
gets a blessing because some people actually get good validation online that's actually good, and some criticism that actually helps you improve yourself and get better. But then it's oftentimes, more often than not, actually, is the hate gets piled on, and you can't even see any good comments. You can't even see any good criticism. It's just hate and vitriol. And it's like, the fuck is this shit, man?
Yeah.
They're two different things. You can
Isn't
critique something, but man, going crazy.
Rob came in with the $20 super chat. Says, thank you so much, Rob. That's amazing. He says, and what is with this constant over analysis these days? Everybody
Isn't it
has a platform.
because we live in that instant gratification world? You know
Nailed
what I
it.
mean? And that's what all of this is about to me.
So
I
we're
wasn't
talking about
instantly gratified enough.
Well, and
RGT.
then you have a problem with what somebody does, and you have to instantly gratify yourself by saying how much you dislike it, or you know what I mean?
Right. RGT asked about, you were talking about being just a decent person, take normal out of it. And David said, well, what is decent? And
If you're a grown ass adult who doesn't know what decent is, like, I don't know.
Yikes.
I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Right.
Like,
It's a good response.
but I think Paul came in and says, treat those the way you want to be treated. Like, that's the
Mhm.
number one golden rule,
Right.
Don't be a fucking asshole.
That was like instilled in elementary school. They had that sign up in the classroom. It's like, treat others the way you want to be treated. And I guess they must have removed those signs now. And they don't.
They
teach
were
that
replaced with
morality.
flags of a
Yes.
certain color combo.
Yes, flags of certain things. Not the
RGT,
American flag.
did you just put sit, Ubu, sit? Good dog.
Well,
is that a reference to the old outro of the TV show? Sit, boo boo, sit. Good dog.
yeah,
Ruff.
because someone
Yes.
said, take the good, you take the bad, and there you have the facts of life. And that was the thing on Family Guy, actually, where Peter said that, and then he did the sit ubu sit good dog at the end of it. But yeah,
Oh,
because
that's
sit ubu
awesome.
sit, because that was from I used to see it on Family Ties. I like
Yep.
that show.
Yep. I thought it was sit, boo boo, sit. Was it boo boo or ubu?
I thought it was Ubu, but it might have
I
been.
thought
It is
Boo
ubu. It is ubu. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. Just for those who don't know what we're talking about, I'm sure Adam, you have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
You got to
This is-
remember, you used to hear it back
Ubu.
on a TV speaker. That
Yes.
was you know what I mean? So
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good
yeah,
dog.
so it sounds like boo boo, but it's boo.
Well, I want to watch the whole thing because I think it goes into. Hold on,
Sit,
see.
Ubu, sit. Good dog.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's just
Man, that's
straight
an old
nostalgia. Right there.
Paramount thing too. Jeez.
Oh, that's crazy. That is insane. But yeah, I mean, so what's the solution? I guess that's the big question: is what's the solution here to get people from feeling the entitlement attached to reaching out to the voice actor in the RE4 remake and saying you're shit, you're not what I thought. Like, what's the solution here? I don't know.
That's the problem. I don't know that they're, because once again, I feel like we went with the give people an inch and they'll take a mile thing, and now it's like you're far beyond what can be, because what can you do? Like there's nothing.
Yeah,
you
we're
can
20 miles down now.
Yeah.
How do we go back?
I really
can't-
think we have to rethink the laws about stalking and consider what online stalking is.
That's more government.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that. And that's not the answer, man. That's not going to change. Criminals don't give a fuck about laws. Come on, dude. These assholes are going to
They
find
just
a way.
need to teach people how to be actual good parents, how to be
Nuclear
nice to each
families.
other.
There it is,
Yeah.
Blab.
It starts in school and at home. You gotta be good to each other, and when you grow up, you take those characteristics with you. But instead, they're like, nah, it's all about you. Self entitlement is the best. Go team. Oh wait, just me, myself,
Here's your
and I.
participation trophy.
Yeah.
You are a winner,
Yeah.
even though you
So-
came in last.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
You,
think
but
you're
you
right.
got a 7.
7 on 10 is the minimum.
That's right.
If you change the baseline of how people behave, they should, and besides the crazies, people should act better.
I don't
Mhm.
know. It's
So-
it's tough though.
Right. So all that, everything you said, I feel like makes sense. But then there's one giant thing that throws a loop into that,
Uh-oh.
and that's your phone.
Oh.
And that because as soon as you're given a phone, you have access to all the data and all the information, all the social media, to where you can be taught, family values and how to be a good person. And then all of a sudden, everybody has a little narcissism in them. Everybody, and then it just gets amplified when you have Twitter. Because guess what? I got likes, or I got whatever hearts on Instagram or whatever it may
That's
be.
why I don't think
Not
teenagers need a
real.
phone. Like that conversation we had the other day. What is the right age for a child to have a phone?
And social media as a whole, man, it's
I am so glad that social media was not a thing when I was growing up, because holy
Same.
shit. Holy shit. Like the amount of like there are home videos out there that I'm sure have been destroyed because I don't have access to them, but just like the amount of stupid shit that we did. And just thinking about like if this was on video, dude, no, I'd be fucked. Like but that's what people live for nowadays. Like,
Mhm.
I have a cousin who's she just turned 18, and every time we're at like a family thing or something and I see her there, she's in the kitchen. Like,
right.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm making a TikTok. I was like, why? Who are you? Why do you need a TikTok? Like, what how is this going to enrich your life in any way, shape, or form? Well, people like it. It's like, okay, like if that's what makes you happy, cool, but you gotta
Maybe find better things that make you happy.
have fun in college.
That's
I
also
noticed-
they
Hold
all
on,
have the dream to be TikTokers too. So
Oh yeah, that's a whole
Yikes.
damn thing. All these kids, they want to grow up to be YouTubers and stuff, and it's like, no. The thing about that is like, there's so many things that go into doing YouTube as a profession that people do not realize. People just think, oh, that's the easiest job in the world. I'm not going to say the job is hard, because I don't think the job is hard, especially for what I do, but it's very time consuming, and you have to know certain things, and you have to gradually build it up and know when to make the jump, and have fail safes behind you, because nothing is guaranteed. But like, the kids don't see that. They see the Mr. Beasts and the Logan Pauls, and they're like, that's me. And it's like, probably not. Go to trade school.
Yeah, there's also something about having something to offer as a YouTuber, right? I didn't start doing YouTube stuff until I was in my mid 30s. I was a professional skateboarder. I traveled around the world doing different jobs. Like, I built something, and I had a lot of experiences to then now come and actually have some sort of a solid piece of advice or an opinion on something. I think a lot of them just want to skip all that. They're like, no, no, no. I'm just Mr. Beast. I'm just like you said, like, oh, that's me. I could do that easy. Oh, too easy. I could cure 1,000 people of blindness because, whatever. It's easy. It's like, well,
But then people are
actually,
going to get mad at you for doing that.
of course.
Right.
But
Well,
it's
speaking of
interesting though.
which-
I noticed that you said that your cousin or your niece, or I don't remember who she was,
Cousin.
the TikToker, her response was, it makes others happy instead of it makes me happy. And that's really sad, actually. It's like they're not even doing it for their own they're tying, again, what I said earlier, they're tying their own validation into other people's opinions. And there's just such an issue with that nowadays, where people are so obsessed with how others think of them. It's like, man, that means you're not living your life for you. And fuck that. I live my life for me and no one else, right? I mean, or my wife, but she's a part of me, so it's sad. I have to ask, have I frozen in a while?
Nope. You've
At
been
all?
pretty good. You've been pretty good.
I think I may have figured it out, guys.
What was it? Now I'm intrigued.
So it's interesting. Extra Zero said something right after I think I thought I figured it out, and he kind of was like, it freezes on uh, Chrome,
Chrome.
and
Yeah.
I use Brave, which is basically Chrome but open. It's I love it, but it
Mhm.
always puts shields up, so it blocks cookies, it blocks everything, and I dropped the shields on StreamYard, so StreamYard could run fully instead of being like
Mm.
like throttled from cookies and stuff. And
You did it.
suddenly, that's when I dropped out. It reset, and I came back in. I haven't frozen since.
Listen,
I think
get
we
rid of
got
that,
it, baby.
Get
We're
rid of
still
that
gonna call
Mr.
you
Freeze
Mr.
tag.
Freeze, though. No. It's
I'm
called
doing it.
lore now.
I'm going back.
Rich is talking about pass the Restrict Act, and then the government can cancel the indecent people. I don't think
Yeah,
we
but
want that
who
to happen.
decides who's indecent? Because I sure wouldn't want a congressman who's sleeping with,
Yeah.
a rant boy deciding if
Who's
I'm
the morality
decent.
police?
Right.
Well, they're the most disconnected people from actual reality. Them,
Mhm.
True.
like politicians and Hollywood, the two most disconnected people from how things actually are in the streets and how they are in the world are the ones that are in control. It's like, no, thank you.
No.
Mhm.
No, thank you.
That's so refreshing to hear. RGT, you're a real one, dude. You get it for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. It's really amazing. We try to stay away from politics on the show, but it bleeds in occasionally. And
yeah, I mean,
Tread a little water sometimes.
right. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. Of course, the thumbs up button as well. We got a bunch of great people coming up on the show this week, including Yellow Flash on Friday, as well as we have a pre-recorded interview, a one-on-one. It's not even an interview. It's just like a conversation with James Rolfe. It's available on Patreon right now, but it'll be available here on YouTube on Thursday. So, lots of good stuff coming up. Hopefully, hit the subscribe button. Bloody comes in, says, "Hey RGT, how was it making a video with Stevie Richards? Was it hard to get a hold of him? I know you're a big wrestling fan, so it must have been a cool moment."
So that was actually that's one thing that I did not realize the crossover. Well, I guess I realized it from a fandom perspective, the crossover between pro wrestling and video games, but I didn't realize that so many pro wrestlers know about video games and play video games and watch YouTubers, because the whole thing with Stevie Richards was he actually shared one of my videos and I was like, what? And on Twitter, and he tagged me in it, and I was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, I watch your videos. And I was like, that's bizarre to me. And I was like, well, do you want to do a video together? And he was like, yeah, sure. So no, it was actually super easy. And I talked to him all the time. We ended up becoming pretty good friends and stuff. And he's been on the channel a couple of times. We were trying to get something going this year, but I ended up in the hospital. Then he ended up in the hospital. So we've been kind of, trying to work everything out. But no, he's a super cool dude. And it was super easy to get a hold of him.
Wrestling games, they usually try to get the actual wrestler to voice them, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so, they're probably all a little bit involved in the industry because they make a lot of wrestling games. You know what I mean?
And I mean, plus the whole culture has changed, of backstage wrestling stuff. It used to be fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme style Coke parties and stuff. And now it's people are much more mellow and just chilling out. They got rid of all the roids and stuff like that. So, it's a bit different, but yeah.
What's your prediction for how this whole UFC WWE
merge?
combo, what is it going to look like? I have no idea.
We haven't even got a chance to get into this. I can't wait.
They're going to try to keep it separate, but it's not going to work.
How?
It's not going to work. There's they came out last night on Raw. I haven't watched Raw in forever, and I was like, well, it's after WrestleMania. Let me watch it. It was probably one of the most terrible things I've ever spent 3 hours watching. And they're like, well, things are going to stay the same and it's going to be the same. WWE, you love. Triple H came out there, and it's like, the fact that you're coming out here and saying this sort of stuff proves to me that this is not going to be the case. So I don't know, because, realistically, UFC fighters, I would say a vast majority of them, they don't really get paid probably what they should be getting paid, considering the amount of anguish and strain they're putting on their bodies. It's the higher ups that get the money. So I don't know how it's going to sort of work. Obviously, there's going to be more cross promotion of stuff, but it's going to be weird, dude. It's going to be really weird.
You brought up the payment of things, and the WWE wrestlers, some of them are making, I mean, even the lowly paid wrestlers are still making six figures a year, right?
Right.
But the highly paid wrestlers, they're making millions annually. Whereas in UFC, it's very feast or famine. Your top earners are going to be making millions of dollars, but your average run-of-the-mill guy on the card, even on pay-per-views, is making hundreds of dollars for the fight. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of how that if they translate over, because Endeavor, who is acquiring or merging the two companies, are going to create a new one. Endeavor also owns William Morris, which is a huge talent agency. So you now have an incredible roster of live action talent. You have fighters, you have wrestlers, and they all probably need representation. And now they probably all have representation if they didn't before. So it's really bizarre to think how this is going to play out. But at the same time, like, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. So it's crazy. Adam, how do you feel? Do you think it's going to work out all right? We haven't talked about this at all. I've been wanting to for the last couple of days.
I grew up watching wrestling and also watching UFC. The Octagon, when it first came around, my grandfather, he loved boxing, and then that came out. So I kind of was like watching both of them when I was around like my family and my uncles. Like UFC was always on, or I don't remember what it was before Ultimate Fighting. I don't remember, but I actually was a Rock fan. I was tombstoning all my friends. The Undertaker is the top G as far as I'm concerned. I think, like Brock Lesnar, right? He actually was a wrestler, then went to UFC, or not UFC, WrestleMania or whatever, and then went to UFC and kind of proved himself that he's actually a badass that can fight. So I think there is some essence of it that I'm excited about, but I don't know. The corruption, from what I know, of like how Dana White doesn't pay very well comparatively, and then taking care of their bills, the medical bills. I think there's a chance that this could kind of like bring it to like a good medium where everyone just starts getting paid pretty good across the board, and we're going to be entertained just as much as we have been. So I don't know. I'm optimistic about it. I don't follow anything much, but when a good fight is on and like friends of mine are excited, like, all right, we'll watch together. We get on like a Discord watch party kind of thing. I don't know if that's illegal, but
I think
I don't do that.
I think one of the main problems is they've been trying for years to have MMA and pro wrestling crossover in terms of fandom,
Right.
and it's never worked. It's never MMA people like MMA because it's realistic.
It's real, raw.
Wrestling people like wrestling because it's their stories.
show.
It's a show. Yeah, it's a very aggressively paced play with real injuries and real sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a production. There's writers and stuff like that. And the problem is these higher ups who, once again, don't know, they think they know everything, but they don't seem to necessarily do. But I guess that kind of sounds bad because of the 801 thing. But just in my opinion, we'll say, they see like certain characters within MMA that start to rise, and now these characters, and they have these people play up into their characters, and it kind of gives it more of a storybook feeling instead of just two individual people that are that are going to fight. Now there's a reason to fight. Oh, well, this person insulted that person and stuff like that. But I think the problem is a lot of those UFC people, that they don't want to do that. Mixed martial artists don't want to play up to a character. They don't want to have this weird persona. They want to go fight.
Train and fight.
Train and fight. And then, pro wrestling people, you got to remember, pro wrestlers are essentially actors, and that's one of the things that they're good at. And to have that sort of transfer over and to take every MMA guy and be like, hey, well, you need to kind of, be a bit of an actor now. You need to have a persona. It's like, what? No, I don't. Like, I'm here to fight. Like, it's tough.
I don't know if they're going to, I think, the best money-making UFC fighters are the ones who can talk, right? They can talk and they can fight. They have obviously your Conor McGregor's and your guys like that. He's obviously like the golden child when it comes to getting people interested in a fight and just getting his jaw slapping and lips
even
moving.
I know who he is, and I know nothing about this.
But I don't know if they're gonna necessarily look at WWE and be like, you need to be like the wrestlers. But I do think that they could leverage other resources in WWE. UFC could, in particular, because the one thing that WWE has done and will always do exceptionally well is they create incredible video packages to get people excited for fights, for the story, and they can tell stories within their video packages. So if if they expand on that for the UFC, I mean, the UFC is already massive. I mean, bigger than WWE is at this point, according to the evaluations of the company. You know, that'd be huge. But I think you'll see UFC fighters showing up at WWE events and WWE wrestlers showing up at UFC events. You'll see the traditional crossover promoting the pay-per-views in between each fight, because in between each fight and vice versa. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see like Dana White and Vince McMahon in a room together, kind of talking through things. So,
It's crazy how Vince like totally skirted past all the stuff that happened.
Allegations.
Came back with a little stinky mustache, and I was like, "I'm back, bitches. We're selling." It's like, what? What the hell happened here?
Dude, he legitimately looked like a bad guy from like a 1920s movie, getting ready to tie somebody up on on railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'll take care of this guy.
Did you see that picture of him, Blabs?
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the mustache is like top tier. I mean it's spectacular. Just because I need to look at it right now, I'm gonna pull it up. But look at that, man! Doesn't he just look like the best bad guy wrestler in the world?
It looks like he's like part of like some mafia or mob or some shit.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall. See.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Hey, Metastep wants to know, he says, RGT, is it hard being Bam Margera's brother?
You know, it's funny because I was a huge Bam Margera fan growing up. Now, granted, current stage Bam Margera is in a wreck, so I'm going to assume you mean younger version Bam's brother in terms of looks. And yes, it's cool. Thank you. Because I used to skateboard a ton too.
Prime Bam.
Prime Bam's like CKY 2 Bam. Like that was the best time frame in my opinion.
Maniichi comes in with the $2 super chat, says, "It's still real to me, damn it." You guys remember that? Remember that clip from back in the day? Yeah, it's good stuff. Entertainment comes in just now, says, "I'll pay pay-per-view money to watch some WWE wrestlers do actual MMA and UFC. I remember Tough Enough. Well, now that would be fun to watch."
I don't know what Tough Enough is. What was that?
Tough Enough was the WWF reality show where they went in and they tried to essentially create wrestlers. They said, "Hey, do you want to be a wrestler?" And they made a reality show on, I think it was on MTV and Spike TV, I think, where they took a group of 15, 16 wrestlers, men and women, and they took them through all the training, and they taught them how to do promos and taught them how to take bumps and did the whole wrestling thing. And they actually saw some pretty good success from those like talent searches that they did. Not necessarily from Tough Enough. I think Miz was a product of Tough Enough. RGT, do you know?
Yes. Yeah, he was.
So he came in, and then like they did a divas search. They don't call them divas anymore. They're just women. They did a divas search, and they found the Bella twins, who are now Hall of Famers, which is crazy to me.
Most of the time, it was like the people that won never ended up doing anything, but like the people who were like runners up and stuff would end up, coming back. Like John Morrison, who's been a million different characters, but he was also on Tough Enough. The Boogeyman was on one of the earlier episodes of Tough Enough, but he like lied about his age and all this stuff. But then he ended up getting the job, so it didn't really matter.
Wasn't Ken Shamrock one of the people who was a UFC fighter and transitioned to wrestling?
Yeah, he was one of the first. Him and Dan Severn.
And if I recall, he was fairly popular at the time.
Ken Shamrock was super good.
Yeah.
He was one of the anomalies. He was kind of like Brock before Brock. Like he was super talented and just crazy, like doing whatever. But I mean, like Matt Riddle is a big WWE guy right now. He was in UFC, but he got into beef with Dana over pot smoking. So that'll be interesting to see.
Here we are.
Yeah.
By the way, here are the winners of Tough Enough. Maven was interesting. This is Maven. Like, what's the worst name in history? Maven.
Girl's name.
Maven.
He eliminated Undertaker at one of the Royal Rumbles. That was his claim to fame.
Yeah, and people are like, "What?" And I think Jackie Gata. This is Jackie Gata, right? Yeah, I think she's dead. I think she died.
No,
I
she's
think
alive. She was married
Okay.
to Charlie Haas for a while. I don't know if they're still married, but no, she's still around. Linda Miles ended up being like doing a weird BDSM gimmick with the Basham brothers. She was like a very tall, kind of like Jade Cargill before Jade Cargill, like a really tall, jacked, athletic looking black chick, but it never worked out.
It's funny. I'm over here thinking people are dead, and you're like, feel bad. Red Sings the Blues says, here's some money for the show. Can't wait to interview you at 2 p.m. Central Time. That's right. I'm going to be on Red Sings the Blues show a little bit later on, which is very, very cool. John, you said Johnny Morrison. He's been a well-traveled wrestler. He's been in TNA and every single federation ever. Yeah.
And the other guy, the Matt C guy, I can never say his name. He ended up having like brain issues. I think he did pass away.
Yes, he's suffering from brain cancer. Oosh, that's rough, man. Daniel Puder was interesting because he actually came in and he was like an MMA guy, and he nearly broke Kurt Angle's arm in like a shoot wrestling match, which was amazing. And then I don't know who Andy Levine is, but they tried to bring it back. They tried to bring it back a few years ago, and they had Sarah Lee. And I think this was the final season, season 6, 2015. And I actually liked the show. They when they rebooted it, they did it with Stone Cold as the host, and it was a pretty fun show. I enjoyed it, but it'd be interesting to see because they have the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, reality TV has been very good to both UFC and WWE. But unfortunately, the slap fight thing didn't work out for Dana White this time. So did you get?
I can't believe he thought that would work.
Hey man, who knows? RGT, do you watch any of that?
I have seen it before, and I was just like, "What am I watching?" Like, this is like a slight step up from bum fights. Like, let's be realistic.
Right.
See, I watch UFC. I don't like watching people get hurt just for them to get hurt. UFC to me is a sport like boxing, and getting hurt is a side effect of it. Slap fights to me is like you're just hurting them. That's it.
Right. Just rearing up and
how
getting your
much
shit
can
kicked
you
in.
hurt him? That's
Have you
the
watched
goal.
it? Have you watched it though? Slap fight?
I watched a little bit of it. I couldn't
Okay.
take but like 2 minutes of it.
Yeah.
It has not gone over very well on social media. People are like, dude, y'all are idiots. Like, what are we doing? And I think early on with like the first episode, I did like a live watch along on stream, and it felt more or less like really bad exploitation because one of the guys was like, I'm gonna be famous no matter what. And if I gotta get slapped in the face and slap people, I'm gonna be famous. And it's like,
Yikes.
you probably shouldn't have people on that are just like, hey, I'm gonna be famous, but they're grown ass men, so
And
whatever.
they should also have to pass a competency test before they fucking get in there.
It's
See if
insane.
they're
It's insane to
competent
think
enough
about.
to say, yes, slap me.
Well, we have now put all sorts of competent tests on slap fighting as well as the internet today, thanks to Travis, which is great. But one thing we are not competent on is how much $10,000 worth of cocaine is. That's the one thing we can all agree on.
I actually did the math while I was walking the dog. So I
Oh,
know how much
yes,
it is.
Travis,
why?
how much?
Just because that's the way my old drug dealing brain works.
Drug dealing? Is that what you
How do you think
I
he got
didn't say
that lavish house he's in? Look at that house.
Wait, what?
That's coke money right
Yeah, it's
there.
about
There it is.
$4,200 a kilo is what it was. So about 2 kilos for $8,500. So about 2 kilos for 10 grand. Yeah.
How does he survive? That's crazy.
You'd think he'd be
Oh,
dead after like
My
a half a
God.
right.
Okay, just to put this in perspective. Oh my God, this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's
This
bricks.
is
Like
yeah.
a bar of soap.
That's a kilo.
Oh my God. It says, do 6 people die for every kilo of cocaine? And Jean-Claude Van Damme is snorting it up his ass and playing Guile over here. It's
2 of
insane.
those a week. That's crazy.
Wow.
My question is, how many people was he sharing with? Because he had some people like live-in cokeheads that he had like supported, but
Dude, he's
still.
over here.
Friends.
He's over here like LeBron James, tossing it up and trying to sniff it out of the air. All right, let's go wrap there and take it over to the post show. Guys, lots of good stuff coming up here this week. Tomorrow we have Side Scrollers Feud, the second episode of that. Should be fun. Make sure you guys are here. It's going to be a really fun game show. And once again, patrons will be a part of that. It's going to be patrons versus us on the show. Then on Thursday, the James Rolfe one-on-one conversation. That's going to be Thursday for you guys live. Make sure you guys are here for that. It's about an hour and 10, 15 minutes long. It's a fun little show. And then on Friday, we have Yellow Flash joining us, which will be really great. So yeah, before we do any of that stuff, RGT, you want to tell everybody where they should find you and where they should subscribe to you and all that fun stuff.
You can find me at RGT85 pretty much everywhere on the internet. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm actually doing a giveaway right now on Twitter. Well, it's pretty much on everything, where I'm giving away $100 to a grand prize winner in eShop, PSN, or Xbox Live cards, and then 2 runners up will get 20. I think it's $20 a piece. So make sure you enter that. It's on my Twitter account. And yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a blast. It was a awesome show.
Hey, well, this is like, I'd love to have you back, man. You were awesome. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. So yeah, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. If you guys are new, head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers to continue the show for just a few minutes longer over there as we continue our post show. Appreciate you guys popping in today. Travis, you got anything before we wrap up? Nope. Labs, you got anything before we say adieu?
Yeah, guys, I'm still working on that kick, and I'm kind of curious to see how the kick streaming will actually work out and if it'll ever exist in the future for like more than 6 months. So go follow me there. Link in the chat. Thanks.
And Mr. Freeze, or Unfrozen.
Unfrozen. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to I haven't frozen, right? I feel like every time I go into one of these, like, all right, I'm about to say something, I freeze. It's great to be unfrozen. Thank you guys. I missed you all. I do. I was really bummed when my internet went out, and I'm like, they're gonna think that I'm making this all up, so I avoid playing Mario Kart with them, and I'm so mad about it. I could just hear in my head Blabs talking shit that I'm somehow trying to avoid losing income just to prove that I don't want to like lose to you guys. Yeah, bullshit. My internet is back. Did I really freeze?
Yeah, you totally did.
No, fix your name, buckaroo.
Hold on. All right, I'll change my name. Anyway, it's good to be back. Check out my Rumble streams. I go live Monday through Friday, doing gaming. Usually, I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2. And I also have a Monday show, Base F Mondays, with a bunch of awesome creators on my YouTube and Rumble channel. And then Tuesday nights, I do Tuesday Titans with Georgia Giant Slayer, where we talk about politics and stuff. Sunday nights, I do Forbidden Frontier with Nerdrotic and Quarter Black Garrett. We talk about ancient civilizations, Forbidden Frontiers. It's great. It's a lot of fun. So definitely check out those channels.
For sure. All right, we're gonna go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes.
I just said thank you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. With that said, guys, remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. We'll see you guys over at patreon.com. Twitch, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Fatality.
Out of here. And YouTube, I want to see you guys over. Just one of you guys pop in. I would love to see one of you join us over at patreon.com/sidescrollers right now. If you're on the fence, come on, make the jump. We'll see you guys there. Bye-bye.
Fatality.
I had to do those by myself.